Hey, Gabriel,
Hey, Gaybros Jose.
where are we today?
I am alone in San Francisco, which is different than last week.
That's true, but you're not really alone. Don't you have any dogs around?
There's so many dogs. Not a lot, not in pounds, but 3 different ones.
Three different ones.
Almost make up one normal sized dog.
That's fair. And for celebrating, well, I'm in Chicago, and for celebrating that you are surrounded by dogs. I mean, you're always surrounded by dogs. But what did we watch this time?
So, when we were in together in San Francisco, we decided to play a little game where we each picked up to 5 films that we thought would be funny to have the other one watch, while we had to commit to watching the same movie ourselves. So Jose presented his list, and I picked one, and vice versa. So among your list, you had me choose finally between Brazil, one of the worst films ever.
Wow.
One of my least favorite films that we've spoken
Sure.
about on the podcast. How about that? Or Amélie. I, of course, am not a masochist, so I chose the charming French film.
I should have sent you the Brazil. I honestly, I had it on the checkout on the Criterion sale that it was there. I was tempted on buying Brazil for you and just send it just as a surprise.
So I think after we presented each other our lists, we were aware that this could be a pretty painful exercise. So we allowed each other an out by giving us 2 to choose, which I think made this more sufferable.
I still want to make you watch like any Frank Capra movie. I think that it would be fun. And what was my fourth one? I don't remember. Oh, La La Land.
Oh, I definitely got off easy considering the movies.
The alternatives, yeah. But yeah, I picked this one. We talk about it like well, I mean, you pick it between like the 2 options, but the reason why I added is because we talked recently about Chunking Express by Wong Kar-wai, and I remember like really liking this movie when I watched it like many times when it was released, and I always had the feeling that for you this was like too much, like too sugary.
Okay, thank you for explaining how you received my past opinions about Amelie. Yeah, so I know that I saw this film for the first time in 2000, either 3 or 4, and it was the right amount of sweet for me at that time. And it's been years and years and years since I've seen it. I would also guess that it was not to my taste as it is today. And then I watched it.
Okay, I mean, no need to actually say your opinion yet, but you should actually summarize it.
All
This
right.
was my pick.
So Amélie, her last name is Poulain, right?
Poulain, yeah.
Poulain. She is a child born to 2 parents in the, I think, 1970s. We even get to see her birth in quite a graphic fashion, something I had never seen in a movie before. When I saw this as a 20-year-old. Her parents believe that she has a heart murmur, like a heart condition.
Yeah.
So they don't really let her engage with the world in the way a child would probably prefer to engage. So she kind of goes inwards, and she plays little games and finds simple pleasures, and she finds ways to entertain herself when she can't really play like the other kids. But her mom dies in one of the funniest ways anyone has ever died in a film.
I still laugh at that scene. I still like remember like the first time when I saw it, like the mother never stopped praying for a little brother for Amélie, and then her prayers got answered, not with a brother, but actually with a Canadian tourist that he was jumping from the top of the of Notre Dame.
It's so over the top ridiculous.
But it's so French at the same time. Everything on this movie is so French.
So her dad kind of becomes a hermit a little bit. He doesn't engage with the world much. And at 18, she moves away and she becomes a waitress at a cafe that has a cast, you might say, of regulars, and they're all they have big personalities, they're eccentric. And we see her not become an adult, this isn't becoming of age, but we see her at a time in her life where she's experimenting, giving joy to the lives of others and anonymously. And this starts with, she drops a ball onto the ground upon hearing that Lady Di has passed away. Mm-hmm. The ball rolls in her apartment, knocks on a tile that exposes a hole in the wall where she finds a little tin box containing the memories of a boy that lived there decades ago. She pairs them, the now adults, with the tin box anonymously, and she's inspired by the results she observed.
Yep.
So then she starts to do that, like she grabs a blind man and helps him cross the street and tells him what cheeses are on sale and describes everything. Yep. And she sets up one of the customer regulars who's unhappy with the woman who's, is it the cigarette?
Yeah, the cigarette, yeah.
Yeah, the cigarette woman. And they start an affair, and she becomes obsessed with finding out who this man is, going around and taking pictures in photo booths, as one does, and she discovers that it's actually the repairman. But in her interest in that man, she becomes interested in another man.
Well, I would say that it's like the other way around. It's like she actually sees this guy that is collecting discarded pictures. Yeah. And that guy is obsessed with the repairman, but neither of them actually knows who is he. So they're like making stories about like who would that be.
And then she solves it. And then of course there's her neighbor. There's a lot of characters, a lot happen. There's a neighbor who paints and then uses this painting to help Amélie figure out that she wants to pursue this man, and ultimately they end up in a very French, very happy ending.
I would say yes. That's a good summary. I don't think that we need to go like into all of the details. I like that it's a very happy French ending. Would you say that A Christmas Story also has like a very French happy ending?
I would say it's a very French ending, and I would say it's not a sad ending. I would say it's a realistic ending.
Okay.
But it's very French. That is very French. No American studio is making a Christmas film where the matriarch dies after rejecting the bone marrow of her son. So
yeah, probably not. Spoiler alert for a first episode or second. But no, I have to say that I like it even more, like watching it like once more. It's true that I was thinking that oh my god, it's going to be like Chunking Express and I'm going to feel like it's super derivative, but at the end, like the part that is similar, like directly similar, is how Amélie breaks into the fruit seller house, that he's an asshole and she just wants to just like play with him. So she basically like replaces things, and it's a similar kind of thing that we saw in Chunking Express. Like how, but in Chunking Express it's a bit more of a tease between the characters. It's a bit more, it's like, hey, he knows that she's doing this and he's just playing along with it. In this case it's a bit more like, this is like a, how do you say, how is this word? Sorry.
So who would be Amélie in the Chunking Express?
It would be like the
woman behind the counter.
Yeah, like the one behind the counter. Yeah, but in this case, in the other one is like we don't know if it's really like a mischief, if he's like just tricking the guy, playing with him. It feels like it's a bit more of a, hey, I'm cleaning you the house, I'm changing stuff, to the stuff that I would like to have if we were living together, if we were having that relationship. So she actually leaves like her shoes there and everything. In this case, it's like pure mischief. It's so French on what she does. About like, hey, I go to your place and I fuck you over. It almost feels like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. It's the French version of Macaulay Culkin.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
It's a much happier version.
Is that Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone?
No. Sorry, I went back in my mind to Chunking Express.
Oh, yeah.
And the similarities, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that is that the similarities run a bit deeper. It's like I feel like it also in Amélie is about the idea of connection, of human connection with other human beings. and about like how we crave something that it can be like pretty hard to achieve even if it's around the corner.
I agree, and one of the reasons that I felt it was important to talk about the childhood, which is a fairly brief but impactful and effective begin to the film, was that they pretty effectively cement that she was kind of trained not to not want affection, but that it was kind of out of her reach, and so she kind of grew up looking for replacements for that, and it worked for her for a while. But yeah, the film ultimately is about connecting with whom and how, and what do you actually want from that connection, which I think she surprised herself by what she actually wanted.
Yeah. Only I was surprised that actually like the script is good. It's like, as you were saying, there are like a lot of characters, but it doesn't feel confusing. It's like maybe it's presenting a very cartoonish kind of way, but it's heartfelt. It's like all of the characters that they are like displayed on the screen, they don't feel like super complex characters or anything, but they just feel relatively human in the cartoony way that is presented.
You know, when I was watching this, I was paying attention to the pace, the music.
Oh yeah.
The music is just one of the best scores I've ever heard. But I was thinking that the pace, they always keep the story moving at such a high clip that I think I would like to watch this high, because I have a hard time finding entertainment when I'm high, because like the emotional highs, I'm like, yeah, but then, you know, the story slows down. Yeah. And I feel like this kind of has the pacing that I would just be on board for like 90 minutes. Let's ride this Amélie train.
Yeah, but it doesn't have like the frenetism that you could actually expect. You know, like we were talking about Aaron Sorkin. It's like for Aaron Sorkin, it feels like all of the dialogues, they have to go like super fast, almost like a Wes Anderson movie. You know, in this case, it doesn't feel rushed. They don't want to be like a rush feeling. It's like there are scenes that they are a bit slower, but things keep moving forward. It feels like, hey, I have a story to tell you. It's going to be like a quick, you know, like short, sweet story. And it's like, I'm not going to be like wasting time.
I agree. And I think this movie was similar to In the Mood for Love in that it was more about a mood or a feeling. And that feeling for me is a little bit like it always is with the French melancholy. Longing, of course, there's romance, but they're able to sustain those emotions throughout every second of the film in a good way. I liked it.
Yeah, I find funny when you were saying, like, hey, this is about like something like pretty French, and it's like, this is about France. This is like, I was thinking about Climax right now. How Gaspar Noé says, like, this is an unapologetically French movie. It's like, no. Amélie is an apologetically French movie. It's like everything is designed to just scream France on every single scene that you look at. You were talking about like the music, but I don't think that there is any, not even like the Marseillaise. Marseillaise is more French than the soundtrack.
Yeah, this is about the most French film I can imagine. Yeah, even like French New Wave. Like I was thinking Jules and Jim or
Band Apart.
A Band Apart and
or Breathless.
Yeah, anyway, no, I would still. This is the most French film that exists.
Because I think that is like those movies happen to take place in France. Is that this movie is celebrating everything that we think about France.
This is like an ad to book that family vacation over spring break to Paris.
Dude, I actually went to that cafe. I went to Montmartre. I did, because it's like I wanted to see like in real life. I wanted to see the magic. One fun thing about like that cafe, I don't know if it's still open or not, but it's like all of the staff that they had that day, they were men. And it's interesting because all of the staff that they have on the movie are women.
I actually don't know who wrote this. Do you?
I assume that it would be like Jean-Pierre Jeunet, the director.
That would be very impressive.
Jean-Pierre Jeunet with Guillaume Laurent.
Why do I know that name? Nope, I don't know anything he's done. Never mind.
I lost my body.
That is interesting. It's interesting that, like, isn't it like some crazy stat like 80% of wait staff in France are men?
I didn't know that. I mean,
something insanely like upside down compared to the rest of the world.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, in Spain you say that it's like half and half, but yeah, it's true that in the States it's more women than men.
so as I said, as an intro to my synopsis, I hadn't seen this in at least 15 years, at least in its entirety, and I didn't expect that it was going to be right up my alley, but it sure was. I mean, like, I don't want to just describe this film as very French, but there are these very French moments where like the people in the pictures start talking to the characters, and there's like a lamp that's a friendly looking pig who like watches her sleep, and the music and the quirky characters, and I don't know. This is a really good movie.
It actually captures pretty well like the magic realism, you know, but it takes it like way farther than what Wong Kar-wai could do. It's like Wong Kar-wai always remain like just like fiction reality. I think that in this movie, it's like we don't have that need, you know. And you know, like Jean-Pierre Jeunet, how he had already done Delicatessen and The City of the Lost Children. Is that he loves that of this is a bit of reality, and then there is like quite of quirkiness around.
You know what it kind of reminded me of was the films of Miyazaki, because like there's zero realism, and you kind of have to adjust to that and just accept that there's going to be a lot of happy coincidences and everything's going to work out just so. But there's definitely a place for that type of cinema, especially when it's this well done.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So I'm going to say that you kind of failed the entire exercise because I enjoyed my time with Amélie.
Oh, just give me a retry, because I have like 3 others, you know.
Nope, this game is over. It was fun.
It's interesting that he actually, it's a pity that I just discovered it right now, but he did a short, Jean-Pierre Jeunet did a short this year that is like Le Véritable, pardon my French, history d'Amélie Poulain, where he actually, the director of Amélie, reveals the true story of the titular character, providing an alternative interpretation of what was going in the original movie.
Wow, I can't believe this doesn't have more attention.
Yeah, maybe it's like a dark interpretation that is like, no, she was crazy.
People are like, no, we want that Amélie from 2001.
It was 2001. I still remember like going to watch it to the cinema, and a friend of mine, acquaintance of mine was telling me that is like, I don't want to watch this because I don't watch French cinema. He said, dude, is that what do you care what it's from? Is what does it even matter? When he left like the cinema, he was saying that this is the best movie that I ever watched.
Oh,
You opened my eyes.
it softened the hardest of Spanish hearts.
Yeah, I don't know if he kept watching like this in cinema afterwards or not, but it was a bit of a okay, French cinema bad? Okay, I get it.
You know what's really weird about this director is that I loved, and now I've re-fallen in love with Amélie, and I love Delicatessen, and I think something happened in my mind to, like, I cannot bring myself to watch.
City of Lost Children?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen them. I don't know, and I can't get myself to watch it.
I watched it. The thing is, and the same things happen with Delicatessen. Is like he can be a bit gross, you know, on his style, and I think that he embraced it pretty hard in the City of Lost Children. I remember like watching it and saying that is like, this may be a bit too much.
Maybe my instincts were spot on then.
Yeah, it's interesting that he actually did Alien Resurrection, that movie that should have never existed before Amélie.
He directed it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
After Fincher, he directed the 4th one. Yeah. And the funny thing is that I didn't watch anything else by him afterwards.
I don't even know what else he directed.
He had a Very Long Engagement, Micmacs, the young and prodigious TSS Pipette, that I don't even think that I heard about it, and Big Bag.
I actually think I remember Micmacs, and that's when I thought it might be time to take a break. Well, should we answer the question?
Yeah, we should. It's funny that it's like for Big Bag, it's a Netflix production, and he actually worked with the same screenwriter.
Oh, interesting.
I'm not saying that it would be good or not, but in any case, as you said, let's go with the questions. Would you watch it again?
Yes.
Would you watch it again soon?
Yep.
Soon, like tomorrow?
Yeah, so I was thinking, honestly, I say this every week, but if my husband wanted to sit down and watch this, I would probably be like, okay, let's do it.
Okay, you're not as excited as with other movies that you are like, let's watch it tonight.
I mean, this is a great movie. It's not even good for me. It's great, but I also feel like, well, it's true I said I hadn't seen it in its entirety. If it's on a TV, like I feel like it's on TBS or whatever channel, yeah. I'll watch like 10 minutes because it's that sort of, you can get sucked into that world instantly. So I'm familiar enough that I don't want to rewatch it tonight, Jose. Okay. But tomorrow would be fine.
Tomorrow is another day. Yeah, I will watch it again. Like not right now, in a couple of weeks, a couple of months. But it's a very easy to rewatch movie. There's like so much stuff that it goes on in there, but nothing is like so tense or dramatic that it's like it's an easy watch overall. Would you recommend it?
Yes, to anyone.
To anyone. Okay. I think that I would recommend it to even like to my parents. There is nothing weird or like how do you say controversial in this movie. Only if you don't like France. That's the only reason why I wouldn't recommend it.
I will say trigger warning if you haven't seen a vaginal birth. That's shocking to us Americans.
Maybe it's a bit more of a targeted trigger warning. Would you remember, Amélie, not the vaginal birth?
Oh, I never forgot that. I was like, guess I'm watching this again. It's like the fourth time I've seen a vagina. Sorry, what was the question?
Would you remember it?
Yeah.
The movie, Amélie.
Yeah, I had forgotten some nuances, but overall I remembered most of this.
Yeah, me too. I remember like most of it. There are like some scenes that I may not remember exactly the dialogues, but it's that I still remember exactly the dialogue of the Notre Dame scene. It's like, yeah, this is a good movie. Is there anything artistic about it?
Yes. It's one of the most successfully stylized films where it has the style and the substance, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel that he has, I mentioned it a couple of times, like this cartoonish feeling that it almost feels like, hey, it's a parody, but at the same time it's grounded in reality. Not really a parody, but a bit more of a reinterpretation of reality, but it's still like grounded in reality, and it hits like a perfect balance for just being able to believe it, for just like jumping into it and rolling with it.
I think you're gonna honestly feel the same way about Revolver.
Let's move on. Yeah, is it a timeless piece?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that the pursuit of happiness and the difficulty of actually connecting with others is always going to be there. Would you turn this into a TV show?
No. I honestly don't know that you could sustain the energy he has in that film for several more hours, and I wouldn't want it to. I like Amélie exactly as it is.
A part of me wants more of that world and that style, but I think that it would be like just different stories. It's a bit more, it's like, let's complete Amélie and that's it. That was like that reality. So from that perspective, as you say, it's like, this is good. This 90 minutes or 100 minutes is enough. Could this have been a short?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, maybe you could edit like a lot of the stuff, but I think that this movie works because there are like so many characters that she interacts with. So it's able to actually just paint like the whole diaspora of people around her. Uh, in a short, I think that would be like completely lost. Do you think that this movie could have been better?
Nothing stands out. I do feel like this is not a perfect film, but there's nothing that there's no glaring problems in my opinion.
Yeah, for me, this is as good as it can get with this premise.
Yep.
Let's just say. Should we score it?
We should. Ugh.
Oh, one thing you mentioned like the soundtrack before. I'm sorry that I sounded like this weird, but it's from Jan Tiersen, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
That he was. It's funny because when I met my boyfriend, one of the first things that we discussed in our date, he was talking about Amélie and talking about like Jan Tiersen, and I was saying like, no, the soundtrack is from the Vodka, and it's like, no, the Vodka is a Hungarian or Romanian, I don't remember, like band. Ukrainian? Okay. Yeah, I was going to say Ukrainian, but it's like, no, it cannot be Ukrainian. But they got inspired by Jan Tiersen. So there are a couple of the songs that they sound like in an album from back then that it sounds like almost the same.
It's funny because I went into Amélie thinking, oh, this is Jevchka, and then as I was like, no, that was Little Miss Sunshine. Who? And then I didn't remember it was Jan Tiersen until you said it.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, Jan Tiersen, we went to see him live last year, and we were with Eddie. Like, look, he has like already a couple of very electronic conceptual albums. This is going to be a venue that is famous for bringing electronic artists, but pretty sure that the guy is still going to be like throwing us a bomb, like to the early stages of his career. He played nothing, absolutely nothing of that time.
I mean, it was worse than Bjork.
Yes, because at least with Bjork, it's like, hey, I remember this song. Even you are destroying it right now, in my brain is playing a different way. It's like I'm hearing Venus as a Boy in the way that it was intended. Know how you are destroying it right now. In this case, it's like, what you're playing, I don't want to hear it. Honestly, I don't care.
I hope you didn't pay a lot for those tickets. That sounds really disappointing.
It was a gift in any case, but it was like a bit of we both left the room like, this was not what I was expecting. But yeah, sorry, that was like a fun random fact. Going back to the score, should we score it?
Yes, this was your pick.
Yeah.
Your pick.
Yeah.
I will score it first. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5? Okay. I'm going to be like a 8.75.
Just a little higher than what I give it. Just a little.
I was debating between like an 8 and a 9, And the thing is, I cannot push myself to give it a 9. I don't know why, but there is something that it feels like, hey, this movie is great, it's super enjoyable, I would recommend it to everyone, but at the same time, it doesn't feel transcendental.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. I was going to say it doesn't have gravitas, but transcendental is a better way.
You know what I was thinking also? It's like, this is the movie. It's a movie that if this had been released this year, it would have won 9 Oscars.
I don't think so. Nobody's Asian in this movie.
Okay, it's not an American movie, so it cannot win. It's not a movie from the United States, so it cannot win 9 Oscars. But I'm pretty sure that it would have been like the Parasite of this year, like the revelation of, oh my God, it's like script for sure, music for sure, international, like non-English movie for sure, best movie, best director, those 5 for sure. Maybe Audrey Tautou as best actress.
I don't know that I agree with you on that, but I'll just let you go with it. The Academy is not going to recognize something as good as Amélie. I mean, yes, they would give it Best Original Song, and they would call it a night, and we would all be disappointed. That's what the Academy does these days.
No, the reason why I was saying this, actually, it was nominated to 5 Oscars, that it didn't win any of it. That it was a screenplay, art direction, cinematography.
Are we talking about Tar now?
Almost. It's like this was a snap, like completely snap. But what I'm saying is like, right now the Oscars, they're trying to go with things. What it is with Everything Everywhere All at Once, what it is with Coda, and even with Nomadland, they're trying to go with movies that they're a bit more like feel good. That they end up in a good spot, that you can leave the room and just see, it's like, I feel a better human being right now. This is not the time for Lars von Trier or Haneke.
Is that how you walked out of Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, me too. I hate it.
Your parents already acknowledge that they screwed up. It's like they already asked you, "Oh, I'm sorry. Can you forgive me?" It's like, of course, you have to wake up like feeling better.
That's fair. Yeah, there's something that stops me from giving this a 9, and I think it's just that. I mean, great film, always will be, but it's no, running on a treadmill in Moscow wearing a Russia sweater important.
Dude,
what is the name of that film?
Loveless.
Why can't I remember that?
I mean, but the funny thing is, like, you always remember the director, and I cannot remember the director because it's a Russian name. What was the name?
Isn't it Zvyagintsev?
I think so.
Zvyagintsev.
We should actually was Loveless. We didn't record about it.
Oh, okay.
And that's like a very hard destroyer movie.
It is my pick.
Okay, yeah, since your pick, what are we going to watch for our episode 200?
So this is a big one, episode 200. I'd love to watch Loveless, but we're gonna close out the Godfather trilogy with the crown jewel of the trilogy, The Godfather Part 3, which is what it's called. I don't care what anybody has said since then.
Coppola's Godfather, like the two Coppola's Godfather. Come on. Anything else to say about Amélie?
No, go watch it and pick a better movie that I'll hate next time. So.
Oh, believe me, I'm going to be like keeping these 3 options. We should repeat this like every 20 episodes or something like that. I will be adding like 1 or 2 more to the mix.
Somehow you'll make me watch Brazil again.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be like just selecting other 4 movies that you will hate more than Brazil.
All right. I mean, just make it 4 of Celine Dion's Boating.
Oh my God. Thank you. I have forgotten about that. Definitely picking that up. The problem is that I also have to watch it, so I don't know if I really want to watch it again. And to all of those people out there listening to us, thank you so much for putting with us.
And wash your hands.
Maybe. Okay. Bye.